my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and tonight I've got another paranormal video to share with you guys. I went through a bit of a time period where I didn't post any of these, mainly because I was focusing so much on book-related content on this channel, and I really missed these videos. So the last one I posted was about the well-known hauntings of some very famous authors, and on that video, my YouTube friend Kim, she suggested haunted bookstores and libraries. And when I read that, I was like, yes, obviously. Thank you, Kim. What a great suggestion. So today we're going to be talking about some haunted libraries around the world. I definitely think I'm going to make another one of these videos in the future because there are just so many. And in America, there are a ton. But today we're going to focus on more international, although there is one from America. And yeah, we're just gonna hop on into it. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do and you want to help me out, you can click that thumbs up button. That helps me out a ton. So here we go. The first library we're going to talk about today is actually called Marshes Library, and it's in Dublin, Ireland. And I was in Ireland in 2018, and I actually saw this library. I didn't go into it. I wish I had, but we didn't have the time that day when we saw it, but it looked beautiful. Now, this library was first opened in 1707, so it's over 300 years old, so you can only imagine the kind of tales that these walls could tell if they could talk. So it's actually Ireland's oldest public library. And it's standing, when you see it, when you're in Dublin, there's St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is just this big, gorgeous church. And if you actually go, I think it's behind St. Patrick's Cathedral, there's this huge medieval graveyard, and it's just past that. And there are these steps and this archway. It's just beautiful. That's one of the things that are just so beautiful about Europe, is how old everything is. You know, over here in North America, we're such a baby continent compared to Europe, that when you go there and you see this architecture that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, it's just breathtaking. So this library is known to be the home of many ghosts. I guess there were what they called homes in the libraries, and so many different people lived there. Musicians, singers, Quakers, people who worked on the buildings, drunks, just all walk of life that you can imagine lived in these homes over the years. And there are just said to be so many spirits of these people that roam the halls of the library. I just want to pull up here on my phone a little blurb about the main ghost of this library. So it says, but Marshes Library has a particular ghost of its own, the ghost of an old man who has been seen at midnight browsing through its ancient bookshelves. The ghost of its founder, Archbishop Narcissus Marsh. Marsh was Archbishop of Dublin from 1694 until his appointment to Armagh 9 years later. But the transfer did not terminate his interest in Dublin, and in 1707 he founded his library on ground belonging to the then palace of the Archbishops of Dublin. The occasion is recalled in a transcript, and it says, an act passed 1707 for settling and preserving a Patrick library forever. In the house for that purpose built by his grace Narcissus, now Lord Archbishop, on part of the ground belonging to the Archbishop of Dublin's palace, near to the city of Dublin. For 100 years after its opening, Marshes Library was the only free library in Dublin. And in 1739, Walter Harris, in its edition of Ware, said of it, I am under the necessity of acknowledging, from long experience, that this is the only useful library in the kingdom, being open to all strangers and at all reasonable times. So it was just such an accessible place that anybody could go to if they wanted to, which of course is what libraries are at their core, or what they should be. It is perhaps not surprising that Narcissus Marsh should return after his death to a place apparently so close to his heart and life, or that the spectral figure seen sometimes searching through the old volumes in the inner gallery of the library has been identified as his. A popular explanation of the Archbishop's ghostly appearance concerns a favorite niece of his, a girl whom he had reared from a child. When the girl fell in love with a sea captain, the Archbishop strongly disapproved and tried to prevent her from seeing the man. The young couple then made up their minds to elope, and the girl, doubtless to assuage her conscience, wrote a note to her uncle, pleading for his forgiveness, and placed it in one of his books in the library. Archbishop March, however, never found the note that might have consoled him for the loss of his beloved niece, and the popular theory to account for his spectral presence in the old rooms he once knew so well is that he returns in death in an endless search of it. So I guess whoever found it kept it in the book where she put it, in hopes of maybe his spirit one day finding it and then being able to move on. So I think that's such an interesting story. So that's the Marshes Library in Dublin. Next up, we have, I hope I'm saying this right, Felbright Hall in Norfolk, England. Now, this one sounded very interesting as well. Hang on here. So it says, Felbright Hall in Norfolk, England is one of the places taken care of by the United Kingdom's National Trust. The Trust is a charity organization that dates back to 1895. They say it's Europe's largest conservation charity, caring for historic properties in areas of beautiful countryside for everyone, forever. In the late 1960s, Felbright Hall was passed on to the Trust by Robert Wyndham Kenton Crember. That's a mouthful. So why is it haunted? Here's the story. There was a fire at a friend's library in 1809. And William Wyndham tried to save books from that fire. By this time, Wyndham had already inherited Felbright Hall. Unfortunately, he ultimately died from injuries sustained in the fire. Legend says that his ghost appears at Felbright Hall in order to keep reading books. And along with that, this library has huge gardens on the property. It says there's a lake and there's more than 500 acres of woods. And so not only are people able to go there to tour the library and to use the library, I believe it's still open as a library, but they can also spend time just enjoying the massive amounts of land and natural beauty around it, which just sounds so lovely. Next up, we're traveling even further away and we're going to the National Library of India. Now, as I was reading about this library, in the same town where it is located, they also have what they called Haunted Writers Building. And I haven't done too much research into that, but I think I'm going to include it in the next video that I make, because apparently this writers building is so haunted that nobody will stay there after hours. Like once business hours are over and they close up, if anybody's still working in their offices, they just pack it up and leave. They will not stay there after hours. Because like, that really drives it home for me. I love reading about haunted places, spooky places, but you know, a lot of these places in this day and age are business as usual. But that just really tells you that there's something a little extra going on there. So we'll be doing more research into that one soon. But for now, the National Library of India. So it says, this building was earlier the residence of Warren Hastings, the first Governor General of the East India Company, before it became the National Library. And if legend is to be believed, he still roams here in the night and his faint apparition can be spotted at times. No, he isn't here to scare away people or attack them. Rather, Hastings' ghost roams here to find a black bureau that he couldn't when he was alive. The bureau he believed has papers that could prove his innocence in the House of Commons, but he was never able to find it. Even though all charges against him were dropped later, he still comes back in the hope of locating those papers. Guards at the National Library are often armed with a copy of the Hanuman Chalisa. I hope I'm saying that right, to shoo away any spirits lurking around, but many have reported spotting a faint apparition of a man, leaving them petrified. Petrified. That's a big word. Like that's a strong feeling word. In 2010, a newspaper report added to the spookiness of the building when ASI conservation engineers discovered a mysterious room on the ground floor of the 250-year-old building that went unnoticed for decades. The chamber did not have any door or even a secret door to get in, which added to what lies inside it. And guess what they put their money on? Skeletons and treasure chests. Super spooky. Can you imagine? I always applaud those people who find secret entryways or doors, who have the courage to get them open and go inside. Like, to be the first person to walk inside a place that's been holed up for decades, if not longer. That could never be me. The final library that we're going to talk about today is actually the one that is down in America, and it is the Willard Library in Indiana. So the Willard Library is a private library in Evansville, Indiana, and it was formed in 1881. And it says that it houses troves of local archives, genealogical materials, and a collection, of course, of just standard publications that all libraries have. And for this one, I went to the library's website, like straight to the official, actual website for the library. And on that website, they have a page dedicated to the famous ghost that supposedly haunts the library, and she is called the Gray Lady. So I'm actually going to go to that website now and read you what is on the official library webpage. So it says here, as you can just see, so as you can see there, it says the Gray Lady Ghost on the library's official website. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but it does. I love that they're leaning into that, providing information. That's absolutely what I would do if I worked in a library that had a ghost. I'd be like, come and learn about this ghost. So it says, the Gray Lady Ghost was first reported to have been seen in Willard Library in the late 1930s by a custodian. Since that time, those looking and not looking for the apparition have reported unexplained events and sightings. So now they break it down. Who's been looking? So the Gray Lady was last reported sighted on August 10th, 2010. Now, I don't know when this was last updated. Maybe she's been seen since then, maybe not. So she was seen in 2010 in the basement hallway by the assistant children's librarian. It also says psychics visiting the library in 2007 say they were able to verify that a ghost has been there, and paranormal investigation groups have brought in equipment designed to locate it. Several library employees have reported seeing the ghost, including the children's librarian and the library assistant. So during a visit to the library, lecturers from the University of Southern Indiana say they saw the ghost peering into water. Policemen responding to a security alarm at the library spotted two ghosts in an upstairs window of the library. The library patron, a library patron reported an encounter with the Gray Lady in the library elevator, and a local weathercaster also reported an encounter with the spirit. Hundreds of people look for the Gray Lady every October during ghost tours sponsored by the library. Not only do they talk about it on the website, they do ghost tours. I need to visit this library. I'd love to visit all of these libraries, but I feel like this one's the closest, and I love that they are leading into it so much. So then it lists the unexplained occurrences that are often reported with the Gray Lady. Water turning on and off, the smell of perfume, a feeling of cold, unexplained noises, Books and furniture found moved around. Feeling of touch on hair and earrings. And then odd items found in the library that shouldn't have been there, weren't there before, and they don't know how they got there. So there you go. Those are just some of the spooky libraries around the world. I can't wait to dive more into these and share some more with you in the coming weeks. I'm also going to be looking for those haunted bookstores, Kim, that you mentioned, because I'm sure there are a ton of those out there as well. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I do love sharing these scary stories with you guys, and usually, like right now I'm filming it, it's late at night, everyone in the house is in bed but me, and I get a little spooked when I'm relaying these stories to you. Anyway, yes, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys again probably on Friday with another book talk video. Bye!